Hi, my name is Christian Benito, and this is my ship, the Mischief. I built this 2 years ago for Shiptember. It was the first time I'd ever built a minifig scale spaceship. So I knew going into it, I wanted to do something that reminded me of the 70s sci-fi book covers of my youth, and I wanted it to have an interior, because if you're going to build minifig scale, it needs to have an interior. There's just no point to me. So one of my inspirations, I'd seen somebody build this little speeder that looked like a box. But if you look closely at it, you realize it had all these little doors and compartments. And so I wanted to have that feel. And so though my ship looks like a big rectangle, as we move forward, like, there's a bridge with a little floating command chairs and room for all the crew. There's an airlock on the top that opens up. Also gives me a handy finger hold to pull out the lid and show off all the interior rooms. So, you know, airlock, you got kind of like a ready room with showers, bunks, a little galley, green wall, so, you know, help out with the air. All these rooms have little sliding pressure doors between them. Kind of hard to see there, and you know, this was like, once again, it was Shiptember. I had like a month to build it. It took me a full week just to build this interior box, and like, I kept rebuilding it. I was like, I built it and I was like, oh, it doesn't have doors between the rooms. I hate that. I have to rebuild it because it has to have pressure doors. It's just the kind of detail that just drives me nuts if it's not there. So then as we move back, there's also this airlock leads into a cargo bay that goes all the way through the ship with, you know, once again, room for salvage operations to be happening, all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, these doors, they need to be re-engineered. If I let go of them, they just flop back down. Like when I first built it, everything was so tight that they would stay up, but now after a few years, they just kind of flop if I'm not careful. And then, of course, they do, you know, all fall apart. But luckily it's Lego and it just goes right back together. And then I was able, you know, I built some other stuff. I got little cargo pods around the back, this really colorful engine section with the different things inside all these kind of like peekaboo areas. So you get this feeling of mechanism going on here. Also, it's a ship that I never imagined flying into an atmosphere. So it's got a lander that pops out. Oops. And falls apart. Because, you know, once again, it's Lego. Boop. But it's got its own landing gear that can pop out on the bottom here.
Okay. Very nice.
And set down. So, you know, it's kind of great to be able to show this ship off because it starts out looking so bright but simple. And then I can open it up and show off all these secrets. And I think that's really one of those exciting things you can do with Lego. And so it's fun to show off.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's a great ship. And obviously, like you mentioned, the colors are one of the things that catch your attention with this. How'd you decide on the different colors you used in this build?
Well, I started with orange because it was in the pick-a-brick wall.
Okay.
So it was just a no-brainer. You know, I bought a couple big cups of this orange 2x2 tile. And then I was sitting around thinking, you know, and I always prep for Shiptember. I'm buying colors. I'm establishing colors early, months in advance, and starting to figure it out. And so then I went through and I realized I really wanted this flame yellow orange to kind of complement. So I went on the old brick link and I found these in Germany, bought a whole bunch. And the same store had a bunch of medium azure. And I went, wow, that would be a great contrast. So I bought a bunch of medium azure. So, you know, and then some of it's just stuff stockpiled from drafts and stuff. All these macaroni bricks and stuff I just had. And, you know, like a project like this, I actually had a bin, like a 3-gallon bucket full of orange and azure parts. And everything I owned that was orange practically was in that bucket. Everything I had that was azure. So then as I was working, how can I incorporate this? Can I incorporate that? Will this make it too busy? And, you know, I was just kind of shuffling through it. But, you know, once again, I like 70s art. the 70s like sci-fi book covers, and they had these like lurid spaceships and these crazy colors. You know, artists like Chris Voss, just it burned into my brain, and I love to get a chance to do that, especially in space where it's really popular to build neoclassic, which is fairly sedate colors, or Star Wars, which is very drab colors. So getting to build something like this, it really sticks in the eye. And, you know, I love looking at pictures of conventions I've brought it to because I can always pick it out in the background. I'm like, oh, there's my Mischief in the background, that big orange thing. I mean, the year before this, I built something in lime and magenta, and it was the same thing. I was able to always see it in the background of photos. It was great.
Yeah, perfect. It's easy to pick out. Well, it turned out really neat, so I appreciate you bringing it to the build and talking with me about it. Thank you.
Thank you.